Talking about 2027 AEP probably sounds really overwhelming, especially coming off of such an incredible, disruptive, wild AEP that 2026 turned out to be. However, us here at Senior Marketing Specialists going into our 51st year of doing business in the senior space, what we've come to find out is the sooner that you can plan and be prepared for the upcoming elections and the upcoming AEP, the much higher success rate you're going to have. So unfortunately, preparing and planning for your AEP success will start in January. So what I want to talk about really briefly is breaking down what your calendar should look like. And I like to do so quarter by quarter. So you as an agency, it's really important that you're able to be flexible and flow with what the industry is going on throughout that time of year. But it's also really important for you to have your goals and what you need to accomplish quarter by quarter to set up yourself for success in 2027 AEP. So with that, let's start with what you should be doing in quarter one, January, February, and March. Primarily, the biggest thing going on during this time of year is going to be OEP, making sure that you are being an active participant in your agency to retain the book of business that you worked so hard for throughout AEP. As we saw, Def Research does suggest that about 16% of people will make a change during OEP. So you want to make sure that you are set up in the market space to take advantage of those switching away from their current agent and retaining the book of business that you have and continuing to be the solution for them. Now, outside of OEP, other things that you should be doing during this time of year to set yourself up for 2027 AEP success is going to be doing things like making your plans, trying new strategies, making sure that you are looking at your year and coming up with operational budgets, marketing budgets, looking at what you want your operational costs to be, like cost per client, really setting down and taking a third look or a third person perspective of your agency to make sure that you're still making dollars and cents. One thing you should try to do new within that first quarter of the year is focusing on making brand new connections. If you're wanting to really take advantage of your strategic partnerships and new referral partners in quarter four, aka AEP, then you really need to start reaching out and building those relationships in quarter one. That way it gives you plenty of time to build that relationship, mend that relationship, and have some trust so that they feel really confident referring clients to you throughout AEP. Usually the fourth quarter of the year is when majority of businesses out there are feeling pressure, overwhelmed, closing out their books. So trying to approach them closer to AEP just doesn't make sense. The relationship's not there. Find new connections in January, February, and March, and really nourish those throughout the rest of the year. Throughout quarter two, we're talking April, May, and June. What you should be doing to prep for your AEP is going to be figuring out and trying out new activities. That could be new sales strategies, new marketing strategies, new client acquisition strategies, and especially new products. This is the time where you have your business plan met, you know what your budgets are. This is the time where you should be getting uncomfortable and trying to experiment with new ways to grow your business. Because if you aren't trying new things and you're not getting out of your comfort zone, then you're simply just not growing. We cannot continue to expect to do things the way that we did for the last year, 5 years, 10 years, and continue to attract the new type of clients that we want to have in our business. So it is really important to try these new activities. This is the time of year where you can kind of strategize with it. You can tweak things. You can afford to make mistakes this time of year. Let's talk about product integration really quick. A lot of agents, when they get into the later half of the year, that's when carriers start getting really aggressive about their product trainings and start doing a lot of contests and really start trying to attract you to produce with these ancillary type products like cancer insurance, hospital indemnity, dental vision, hearing. Unfortunately, the second half of the year can get really overwhelming with Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplement changes. And so those new products, new ancillaries tend to go on the back burner. So this time of year is an excellent time to start integrating new products, start integrating new companies so that by the time AEP does come, integrating them into your sales process is second nature. You're not having to adopt something new during a really stressful time of year when you have a lot of other things going on. You could really focus on integrating these new products. Let's dig into quarter three. What should you be doing in July, August, and September to set up your 2027 AEP? This is where things start to feel, the pressure kind of starts to amp up, where traditional AEP prep has started. So what does AEP prep look like for you? There's the obvious, right? Carriers during this time of year start talking about their 2027 products. You're going to be seeing people coming out with different events and seminars to educate you on how plans are going to be different. You're also going to start seeing a ramp up to advertising to your consumers. Carriers are going to want to really start putting their names in front of their clients to make sure that come AEP, they're a top of mind carrier. So you might start seeing a lot more marketing activity from the carriers as well. During this time of year, you need to be focusing on your education. You need to be focusing on, again, addition to training on what those carriers are doing. This is when certifications are coming out. This is whenever carriers are really starting to blast their plan updates. However, you also really need to make sure that you are getting your technology and your systems and processes for AEP down like pat. You need to make sure, how are you collecting your client data? Are you using Client Sync or something similar to that? How are you making sure you're organizing your clients? Are you using the Ask Integrity platform where you can actually have your clients pre-organized based on how likely they are to switch? Do you know what your clients are currently using? Do you know if your clients are using their plan? Do you know if their clients are happy with their plans? This is the time to start organizing your list, working with your clients, collecting the data on your clients, and collecting the data on the plans. It's really time to start getting serious about what your marketing activity is going to look like throughout AEP. Will you be doing events? Will you be doing kiosks? Will you be doing these sales events? If you are, you need to really, especially the beginning of Q3, you really need to be getting those scheduled. You need to be building those partnerships. You need to be taking advantage of those partnerships. This is where we're getting ready to come Q4. You're just simply flipping a switch on. If you're waiting till Q4 to get the client data, if you're waiting till Q4 to start those marketing, it's far too late. Which brings me into what should you be doing during Q4, which is AEP. Even if you're somebody or an agency that has more of a focus on Medicare supplements versus Medicare Advantage plans, Q4 is the number one time of year when the plans are written across the board. Could be for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, it being the annual enrollment period has a lot to do with it, but a lot of clients are out there asking questions, talking about it. They're getting hit in the face with advertising about the annual enrollment period. So not only is this go time for you, but this is go time for your clients when they're going to start. Even clients not actively engaging with Medicare Advantage is the number one time of year where your clients are engaged with their healthcare. So during Q4, what does it look like for you? If you did the first 3 quarters correctly, Q4 is about harvesting. It's about making sure that you are as open as much as you can. You're using your systems, you're using your processes, you have shorter appointments so that you can fit more appointments in that time. Now, during Q4, one thing that a lot of agents don't account for is that November lull. A lot of people feel really pressured at the beginning of AEP to see all of their current book of business because of the disruption, because of the changes, that they turn off all other forms of marketing. So come November, after they've seen their book of business and they've crammed all into one spot, they kind of sit around and look and say, what do I do now? I only have a few weeks left. How do I get more clients? How do I prospect? How do I get more people to want to work with me? If you're asking that question in November, you're basically too late because there is some ramp up time to kind of turn on that marketing. And by the time you turn it up, you start getting your funnel full, you get leads in the door, you're looking at the end of AEP. So Q4, what are you doing in addition to working with your current book of business, in addition to working and harvesting on what you've done the first 3 months? You're continuing your normal business practices. You're continuing marketing. Marketing doesn't stop just because there's business to write. So Q4, yes, it is harvesting, but you can't stop the hustle. You can't stop marketing. You can't stop building. You got to keep that going throughout the finish line, which is December 31st. To turn around in January and start your business planning, start your goal setting, and start your budgeting, your marketing, your strategy all again in January of 2028, which is crazy to say. Again, I totally understand. We just wrapped up AEP. Some of us still feel like we're in AEP because of the busyness and the hectic nature of OEP. But again, the only way that you're going to survive and grow during 2027's AEP is to make sure you start planning in Q1 to survive throughout the rest of the year. If you have any questions about what this calendar looks like, or maybe one of these steps, maybe you're really struggling with how do I come up with a marketing budget? How do I make new business alignments? How do I take advantage of new ideas? What's new out there? What have I not tried yet? You can always call our team, 1-800-689-2800. You can talk to your growth specialist to learn about ways for you to take advantage and be fully prepared and ready to pounce on 2027 AEP. So until next time, thanks.